They lied to you. They told you that meat is manly, that cheese is comfort, that milk is strength. They told you that plants are weak, that discipline is misery, and that self love is a luxury. But they lied. What if real strength is saying no to the poison they package as pleasure? Today, we're exposing this truth on why going vegan isn't a sacrifice, but the ultimate act of valor, healing, and self love. Welcome to the Ace Anderson Show. Let's talk about breaking free from the Matrix, baby. Let's get it. Yo, what's good, family? Good morning to all you beautiful, brilliant, abundantly blessed beings, and welcome back to yet another present moment. You're tuned into the Ace Anderson Show, the place where we connect to fuel your week with inspiration, self empowerment, and entrepreneurial gems to help you ace your life. Now, take a moment to congratulate yourself for showing up today and making it to yet another beautiful dawn with me, your dedicated guide on this journey of self discovery. And if you don't know by now, I am an actor, a rapper, a filmmaker, a poet, the ace of all trades, the modern Renaissance man, Ace Anderson, and I am so happy to be here with you all for another blessed week. Now, this show is my way of sharing not just who I am, but what I've learned about living a life full of purpose, creativity, and resilience. And it's a blessing to have you here with me for another opportunity for growth and connection. Now, as we embrace this first light together, I want to extend a special shout out to each and every one of you early risers joining in live. Your dedication to starting the week with positivity shows that you're already setting the tone for a powerful intentional week, and that energy is what makes this community my A team extraordinary. So grab your favorite morning brew. Y'all know I like to drink alkaline water, and let's explore, illuminate, and inspire ourselves to be better with mindful conversation. Now, today my guest today is a man who has redefined what it means to live life on your own terms. Anth Lowther is a passionate vegan of 15 years and the visionary behind Rise and Shine, a groundbreaking sober party movement in Bali. At 44 years old, Anth has dedicated his life to showing the world that you don't need alcohol or animal products to live vibrantly, connect deeply, and celebrate life with purpose. His events aren't just parties, they are a revolution in conscious living where music, community, and authentic joy take center stage. And is a living testament to the power of self love, discipline, and fearless authenticity. Please welcome the man who proves that you can live loud without losing yourself. My man, Anth Lowther. Introduce yourself, brother.
Yes, mate. That was such a cool introduction. Me and the man Ace there were just having a little chat, and he was just chilled out vibes, sorting his thing out, and then he said, "Right, we're gonna go live." He went live, and he just exploded into this super positive character, and I was just watching it like, wow, going, wow, this is so cool. On the Ace Anderson show, this was fun,
Yeah.
guys. I'm in Bali. My name's Anth Lowther. I'm in Bali. I'm 44 years old, and I've dedicated my life to creating positive change in the world however I can. So I'm very passionate about Rise and Shine, which is a no alcohol party. It's super cool, it's super fun, it's super sexy, banging house tunes, cool crowd, amazing environment, and just no alcohol. I'm all about loving the body and loving the planet, and that's one of the reasons I'm plant based. And that's what I do with it for a living. I see how awesome I can become as a man, how healthy I can become as a man, and how much of a healthy impact can I have on this reality for all humans and all animals. And that's what I do with my life, mate. And I'm 15 years into that mindset, and I'm absolutely flying with it, mate.
Well, Anth, like, let's start with some hard truths, man. What was the biggest lie that you believed about health before you went vegan and sober?
Oh well, let me tell you, mate. When I first decided to go plant based, and thought about dropping meat, which was a real alien thing to me at that point because I've always done modelling, mate. And a lot of my work was body modelling. And for me, the only way you could get your protein and grow your muscles was from meat. And also, when I told my family, my mum and dad, who I'm very close to, I've got an amazing family, mate. I'm very blessed. And I tell my mum and dad everything. My mum's like my best friend. And when I said, Mum, I'm going to go plant based for a while, she went, What does that mean? I went, It means eating no meat. And she went, But you'll die. You'll die from that. She literally got really upset, mate. She thought I would, if you drop meat, you'll die. And that was kind of like in my head that you actually had to have meat to have a fully healthy meal. Meat had to be a portion of every single meal, and that's how I lived up until that point. So that was a big lie that came from somewhere in the system, mate. It came from my mum and dad. It came from my society. It came from my friends and family. It came from my school. It came from all areas. And that's a lie, mate. Let me tell you, I was a 30 years heavy meat eater, and now I've been 15 years plant based, and I can honestly say, hand on heart, I've got no reason to lie to you. I actually want to try and help the world. That eating plant-based is a much more vibrant, energetic, and cleaner and lighter way of eating. So that's definitely a lie that we need meat. You can eat meat and survive off it and actually get muscular off it, but we definitely don't need it. And I can say that for absolute fact now. So that was a lie. And also with the sober lifestyle, mate, it happened naturally is because what I did at the age of 30, as I promised myself and God that I'm going to love my body and love the planet to the best of my abilities, always striving to become better at that. So naturally in that process, I had to drop alcohol. But we all know alcohol is toxic, so we all know that's a high level poison. Everyone would agree to that one. So
Yeah.
that one wasn't a lie, but that was part of my process in it all. And now I'm fully teetotal, mate, which again, it's another thing on planet Earth that we're doing very heavily on a global level. And I actually think it's limiting the potential of the human race dramatically as much as any other single product. And we party with alcohol. So I look at the party scene and I'm creating a healthy upward spiral party rather than a toxic party. So I'm really passionate about positive change, and they're probably the two ways I created the most positive change in my own life, and what I look to create events and experiences based around to offer people an opportunity to try it and explore it without saying you've got to do this. I'm like, well, come and give it a go and see how it is for you. I say I come to my sober party and say, do you enjoy it? You might like the booze parties more. You might not. You might like my party more, and if you do, your life's going to change forever.
Yeah.
So I like to offer these healthier alternatives or these new narratives and try and lead by example to see what we can create here. Because I feel like we're at a choice point of the species, bro. I feel like we're at this big choice point, mate, and we've got to make some changes because the way we're currently living, obviously, there's major, massive warning signs on planet Earth right now that we're doing things in an overly destructive, poisonous, toxic, corrupt way. So yeah, mate, that's what I'm into, bro. As you can probably tell, I'm really passionate about this stuff and really skilled and experienced within this realm and this narrative now.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. But what about the people that say that veganism is restrictive or sobriety is boring? Like, what do you say to those people? And do you feel
I
like they're
think
missing the
someone when they
point?
say so, well, I think, what happens, mate, in that moment, it tells you a lot by where they're at on their own personal journey to say that. So, for example, obviously, people say to me, it's boring not to drink, though. I'm like, I actually think it's a bit sad that we think we've got to drink to have fun. Because I've drank a lot of alcohol, mate. I've done everything you can imagine to every extreme within that realm. Before Rise and Shine, I actually used to run some of the biggest parties in Europe with alcohol for 15 years, and I made a lot of money. I was very successful. So I've had a vast experience within the alcohol realm and a vast experience in the sober realm now, both on a personal and business level. And let me tell you, I have more fun in different ways with the sober parties. Alcohol parties are fun, but they're highly toxic and they're really quite stupid as well. You turn into a stupid, more simple version of yourself. So I understand you can have fun in the alcohol realm, but it's only a small little way in this infinite cosmos full of miracles of other ways you can have fun. And with the vegan realm, people who say you can't do whatever with vegan, I'm like, well, there's 80,000 edible plants on the earth. We eat the same 15 animal products over and
Right,
over again. And
right.
there's 80,000 edible plants, mate. There's everything you could ever need, want, and imagine, taste, texture, and medicinal wise within that realm. That's why Mother Earth grows all that sort of food. So people who say alcohol, partying without life without alcohol is boring, it just means to me they're addicted to alcohol and they can't even imagine or have even tried another way. And people who say that you can't get whatever from plant-based, I'm just like, you just haven't done it properly. You know, I've done 30 years meat eating, 15 years plant-based, and I'm thriving now as a 44-year-old man. You know, I went plant-based because I wasn't thriving. I had problems, major problems. I had suicidal depression, mate. You know, and that was a progressive journey downwards. It wasn't like I just woke up with it. Like I got warning signs up to that. I got what's happened to me, mate. I started off getting hangovers, which I never used to get. And then and I did listen to my body, and that's your body communicating with you, because your body's constantly communicating with you 24/7 through thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And we've stopped listening to our body. But I didn't listen to my body saying, please don't do that. That's what a hangover is. And a year after bad hangovers, I started getting anxiety, which is the next level of warning sign from my body that I didn't listen to. And I kept drinking and I kept eating food just for protein, chicken, tuna, steak, more protein, just to get bigger muscles to look sexier, just to get bigger muscles to look sexier. Didn't listen to my body when I was getting anxiety. And I kept doing the drinking and the high protein food. And then I started getting depression about a year later. Another next level warning sign from my body. I'm going down, I'm not listening to my body. And then a year after that, I started getting suicidal depression. And I literally nearly killed myself. And that was the moment of time I was like, right, what the fuck's going on here? Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, sorry. What's going on here? And that's when I had no other option but to analyze my life and go, what is going on here? And when I asked what is going on here, I'm classed as very successful because I'm making a lot of money and I've got women chasing me, which is how I gauge success at that period of time, is money and women, which is what most men in the Western world gauge success on, I've seen.
Right.
It's kind of like the template. It's the template given to us what success is, the mono template. And they've got people when that's the template, and that's what they teach us. But I had no option but to go deep and ask what's going on. And when I asked that, I was like, well, of course I'm feeling bad. I'm drinking alcohol every weekend, doing lots of drugs, eating average food or rubbish food, and just basically having a bit of mindless sex, drunk sex with women, and like giving my magical energy away to them, and it wasn't sacred. And all of them things are the things that I look back that took my energy down. And my wake-up call, which was really challenging and horrific, but actually a blessing in disguise when I look back in reflection, was suicidal depression, which made me go, I need to try new things, which was sobriety. I cut back on alcohol dramatically at that stage at the age of 30, and that's when I actually got into plant-based living, because I looked into the fact that you take on food as energy. And you're eating that anxiety and the depression and the fear from the animals. You're literally absorbing that flesh, that energy, and that's stuck in the flesh. It's a physical thing, that fear, and you take it on yourself. My anxiety and depression went really quickly, mate, when I stopped eating alcohol, stopped drinking, stopped eating food, flesh, stopped eating dead animals. That was, I think, the biggest contributor to depression, anxiety, and suicidal depression was eating lots and lots of flesh. Because if I was to go, boo, to you, right? And give you a fright, and you go, huh. In that moment when you go, huh, your body releases a lot of chemicals, of physical, actual things, you know, that you can measure, that they've got the physical qualities, like adrenaline and testosterone, you know. But if you're locked in a cage where you're constantly releasing that stuff and you can't move and you're in pain, you're releasing that stuff all your life. And then I drag you out of that cage, bro, drag you against your will, and there's blood everywhere, and you know what's coming, mate. You're like, I'm about to get slaughtered here. And your just body releases the massive floods of this stuff then. And then I slit your throat, bro. You're gonna have so much of that negative energy chemical in your body, and then I eat you. Which all sounds horrific when you hear us say it, but this is what's going on in the slaughterhouses, right? This is a slaughterhouse for you, and it happens 80 million times every single day. You know, that I eat that physical thing that's stuck in your body, and it goes in my body, and my body absorbs it, and that's one of the leading contributors, I think, when you talk as food as energy, which I see food as energy now, is why people have got anxiety and depression, mate.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, it's interesting that you said that because I was gonna express that same
There we
exact.
go. What does that mean?
That means we win, we win. Um, but no,
Hallelujah.
I was gonna express that same sentiment, man. We don't realize that we're consuming the same energy that the animal experienced, and we're taking that on whenever we eat these products. Like we're feeling those same things. Like, and then people get wonder why they're depressed and they're anxious and they have all of these suicidal thoughts. It's because they're consuming death, right? And when you're consuming that type of energy, then you're taking that on, and then you feel like you need antidepressants and you need pills and other drugs, and then like it's all a cycle, man. It's all a cycle, and it's
Definitely,
all to
mate.
keep us
Well,
locked into this idea of needing something outside of ourselves. So that's why I love this journey that you've been on, where you've decided to go inward, and I love how you call this self-love, because it's something that truly comes from inside rather than needing the alcohol, needing the meat. There's so much already provided on this planet that we don't need anything more than what Mother Nature provides.
we need positive energy, mate. All things you consume are at the most basic level. Food isn't protein and carbs and it is, but it's hundreds of these things. So if you want to
Mm-hmm.
break down food to the energy realm, to the measurement realm, you've got protein, carbs, sugar, salt, vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin
Right.
B3, B6, B12, C, D, E, K,
Mm-hmm.
K3, micronutrients, minerals, cofactors, enzymes, probiotics, prebiotics, and you've just got all these measurements. But what I do is I actually don't pay attention to any of the individual measurements. What you can do is move all that to one side and look at one thing only, and his food is energy, and it's either positive energy
Or
or
negative.
negative energy.
Yes.
And that's what it
Yes.
is, mate. And that's all food is. Your body absorbs the food and it becomes the energy, so you can do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
So food at its most fundamental level is energy. So people say to me, because I'm a big hench, ripped up vegan, bro. People say, where do you get your protein from? I'm like, honestly, forget that. They've hypnotized you. That's a black magic spell. That one.
Yeah.
Think higher than that. Think
Yeah.
higher than that. I say to them, I've done many diets, mate. I've done many diets. I haven't, I've done about, I was a male model doing body modeling, so I was always looking to get ahead of the game. So I was experimenting with all these diets that were going to give me the bigger muscles. So I done the cabbage shoot diet, the KI diet, the carnivore diet, all the Atkins diet, every diet you can possibly imagine, mate. And I was always experimenting with them. And when I had done a diet, it was a 6 month long diet. I did it for 6 months. I did exactly what it said to learn what was true and what was false. One of the diets I actually designed myself, which you could class as actually as the men's health diet, because this is the diet they would put across.
Mm.
And I wrote down all my RDAs, my recommended daily allowances. So, for example, my RDA is 180 grams of protein because it's 2 grams of every kilogram of body weight. I'm 90 kilograms, so I eat 180 grams of protein. That's what
Mm.
it would recommend. So I wrote, right, on the wall, I had a big poster on the wall. I thought, protein, 180 grams. Carbohydrates, whatever. Fat, whatever. Omega 3, whatever, what. Vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin, and I wrote them all down, bro. Every recommended daily allowance that the government, remember the government recommend this to you
Mm.
as well. And let me say, I don't trust them motherfuckers no more. I wrote them all. I don't trust them. None of us should trust them guys no more. Come on. And
Yeah.
but I wrote all them down, mate, on the wall, and there was about 400 of them, mate. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize there'd be that many, but I'm going to do it. This is what I'm going to try and do now: is tick them boxes every day to be a healthy human being based on RDAs,
Mm-hmm.
recommended daily allowances, which are the measurements. And I
Mm-hmm.
set off, mate, and I tried to tick them all. And I tried for 3 months, mate. And I was ordering food from all around the world, spending a fortune, getting income berries ordered in from China because they're the only ones that had the vitamin K that I needed every day, which I didn't even
Wow.
know there was vitamin K till that point. And I
Wow.
was stressed and I was overeating. And when income berries haven't came, I'm going to miss my vitamin K this week. Oh my God. And I was like, after 3 months, I was like, you know what? That's not true. That's impossible for me to do. And I had as
Mm-hmm.
much money and as much time as I needed at that point. I thought, not all humans are meant to be eating like that every single day, let alone the people who are single mothers with 2 kids. I've
Right.
got as much money. I'm a free man. I'm stressed. I'm overeating. I'm spending a fortune. I
Yeah.
thought, that's a lie. I thought, that's the line. I thought, right, well, how did I think it was true? And I was like, right, well, I read the magazine that told me that measurement. So I'm believing the magazines, I'm reading the doctors, and I'm believing the machines that are telling
Mm.
me how much protein's in that food.
Mm.
So I'm believing external things is what I'm
Yeah.
saying here. I'm believing what other people have said. And the truth is, science has been hijacked. It can be manipulated very easy based on bias. We actually don't really know if that food's got that much grams of protein in. We don't really know. We just believe in what we're reading on the package.
Yeah.
So I said, right, forget that. Forget that. If I had to figure out what was healthy, and I didn't have the machines, I didn't have the magazines, and it was back in time before we developed the books and the machines. How would I base? How would I figure it out? And I thought, well, I would just use my eyes.
Yeah.
I would just use my eyes, and I would use my brain, and I would use my heart. And this is the important thing that we're not doing as men or humans is using the heart.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that, on one hand, I've got a burger, bro. On the other hand, I've got a strawberry. If I look at the burger and the strawberry and I don't think about anything else that I've ever learned, I just look and I think which one looks healthier. I'll go, the strawberry looks a lot healthier than that weird thing there, you know? And I think, well, I'll eat the strawberry then. And then this is when the heart comes into it. You think, how did they come into creation? That's how you can figure out what's healthy and not healthy. One is a slaughterhouse, and if you sat in a slaughterhouse and open your eyes and your ears and your brain and your heart, 90% or 95% of people will be, fucking stop, please, please stop doing that. And
Yeah.
then if you watched a strawberry or an apple come into creation, there's a little dot falls from a tree and lands on the soil, and the sun hits it, and the rain hits it, and the earth loves it, and then this little thing just appears out of nowhere, and then this little thing is another little leaf and another little leaf, and then all of a sudden a flower appears, and a bee comes and lands on the flower, bro, and the flower eats itself up and turns itself inside out and becomes an apple. You'd be
Yeah.
like, miracle. You'd be
Yeah.
like that. So on one hand, bro, you've got a slaughterhouse,
Right.
and on the other hand, you've got miracle of creation. When I'm talking about the energy of food,
Yeah.
I'm saying support and align the strawberry miraculous creation and not the
Mm.
slaughterhouse creation.
Yeah.
And that's how you can figure out what's healthy is by looking at things, thinking about things, and coming from the heart. We want to be
Wow.
eating things that are, we want to be thinking about eating things that are good for our body and good for the planet. We can't be doing anything that's bad. Not something that's bad for the planet can never be good for us
Right.
because we live on the planet.
Yeah.
And the slaughterhouses are horrific. You can just see that by looking in open ears, and that's why it's called a slaughterhouse. It's a
Right.
house of slaughter. It's the worst type of energy to anchor the planet Earth.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking to food, is energy being positive or negative energy? With that little backstory, all the food that's positive energy becomes obvious, and all the food that's negative energy becomes obvious. So I eat food that's positive energy only, and that's how I figure out what's good for me. And when I'm hungry, by listening to my body, I eat a stomach full of positive energy food. And another thing to bear in mind, mate, is when you've got one strawberry and you pull it, two nearly always grow in its place, mate. So
Mm.
the more strawberries you and I eat, the more strawberries on the planet there are for everyone. That
Wow.
one fact alone should be enough to tell you that's the type of food we should be eating. Again, that's
Wow.
positive energy. If you eat strawberries, you're going to create more strawberries for everyone. So
Yeah.
that's positive karma energy. The slaughterhouse is negative karma energy. So yeah, mate,
Yeah.
that's the way I eat now, mate. I don't pay attention to any individual measurements. I pay attention to energy and energy only in my life in every single area, in humans, in food, in everything. That tells you the truth, bro.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people, there are those arguments that say like plants feel pain and that you're actually killing a plant to eat it, but we're not killing the plant at all. Actually, like when you take
No,
a strawberry from or an apple from a tree, right? The tree is still alive, and you're eating
it
life,
grows
right?
quicker. It grows quicker.
Exactly, it grows quicker because you're pruning it. And so that's a
Yeah,
very
that's what it
interesting
wants.
distinction. I love that. I've never actually really thought about the correlation between the two, like watching the miracle of life, and you're consuming that. And I love the idea of using your head, using your heart, using your eyes, and your spirit to be able to guide you in what is actually healthy, because that's what we did for billions of years. Like that's what we've done on this
That's what we
planet.
should do, bro.
Yeah.
We're living in a world where science has been hijacked. We know
Mm.
that now from the pandemic.
Yep.
Media's been hijacked. The government's been hijacked. Books have
Hmm.
been hijacked. Media's been hijacked. Everything's been hijacked, bro. So
Yeah.
we've got to forget about the external because that can
Right.
all be lied upon. And you've
Right.
got to think about, right, bring it back to my God given gifts, my eyes, my brain, my heart, and let's use logic. Let's use logic to figure out what's true and not
Yeah.
true rather than let someone else tell us what's true and not. So, for example, what I do now, mate, if someone says, this piece of food's really good for you, you should eat it. And if it passes my test, well, it's got to be vegan, mate. I'll never eat anything that's not vegan.
Right.
What I do is say, well, I'm going to eat that for 1 month and then I'll feel if it's true or not.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's what I do now, mate. Is I learn the truth myself. I bring the power. I don't give the power to any president or any human yoga teacher external to
Yeah.
me. I listen to people. I listen to humans. I listen to presidents. I listen to yoga teachers. I listen to
Yeah.
other people's opinions, and I'm very open man, mate. I love being wrong. I
Yeah.
love learning something new, mate. It's very important. I really enjoy being wrong, mate. But I'm gonna think about it and figure it out and apply it to myself before I come to the conclusion it's right or wrong or good or bad.
I love that. So like you do a 1 month test for something, like if you're gonna eat it.
Yes.
It's like I really like that, because that means like you're definitely allowing yourself to be in a space where you're not right about everything, right? Like you want to be able to try it
No.
and recognize your own this own spaceship that you're living in, right? Your body, and you get to use it to be able to teach you what is actually right and wrong, and what feels right for your particular body. Because a lot of people will talk about veganism like veganism isn't for everyone. Well, the truth is, eating everything isn't right for everyone. What you should be eating, what you should be consuming, one, should be from the planet. It should be from the earth, right? However, when it comes to eating all, like, some people are allergic to apples, some people are allergic to strawberries, right? So you have to have your own individual understanding and connection with what is actually right for you. And I love that you're willing to try, because a lot of people say, like, vegans are strict, and vegans is restrictive and all of that. But if I like this concept of like, okay, I'm gonna try it for 1 month, and like I'll hear what anybody else has to say, but I'm gonna try it myself, and if it works for me, then I'll say that this is good. Like I really
Yeah,
really like
mate.
that. I'm gonna apply that.
Yeah, mate. Well, there's 80,000 edible plants, mate. I actually do think veganism is for everyone. To be honest with you, mate,
Yeah,
I hear
yeah,
the things you're saying
absolutely.
back to me. I've been plant based for 15 years now, and I've heard all these opinions that I can tell you've heard as well. The kind of like
Yeah,
stereotypical opinions, you know.
yeah.
And I think there's we are all different, mate. I really do. But I also think there's like universal truths that bind us all.
Hmm.
So, for example, if I drank alcohol and you drank alcohol, we'll both get drunk. It might take me 4 pints. It might take you 6 pints.
Right.
You know. But I think within the 80,000 edible plants, mate, I think I might have to eat 3 beetroots a week, but you don't need beetroots, bro. You need
Right.
cucumbers.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
you've got to find that the equation within the 80,000, what works
Right.
for you specifically. And yours will
Right.
be different from me, different from
Right.
Joe Blogs, different from Venus Williams, and we'll all be a bit different, but you've got to
Yeah.
stay patient and persistent to find out your equation within that realm. I don't think meat is good for any of us, bro. I
Absolutely.
really
I agree.
genuinely believe that.
Yeah.
And also, mate, something I'd like to touch back on that you said a couple of times before, a couple of things before
Yeah.
was you said people saying that plants feel pain too when you've got to kill the plants, and
Yeah.
I'm like, right, I've heard that one as well, and I've seen them scientific machines where the plant screams before you cut it and all that,
Right.
and I thought, all right, well, we've got to eat something,
Yeah.
right? We've got to eat something, right? And if the plants felt pain and the animals still felt pain, I would actually still rather kill a carrot than kill a
Yeah.
cow.
Yeah.
If I'd had to
Absolutely.
choose something, because based upon my senses, my eyes and my ears, when I bite into a carrot, it looks normal. If I
Mm-hmm.
bite into a cow, it's going to scream, it's going to bleed, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
go off, and then that's going to tell me, right, that looks worse. Like if I cut a cow open, they're eating a carrot, it just looks worse. And even still, bro, 90% of the plants that we grow on planet Earth is to feed the livestock as well. So even if you
Mm-hmm.
were sensitive about killing plants, you still shouldn't eat the meat because that's what we've grown most of the plants for. So
Yeah.
there's so many arguments still that still say, well, it still should be plant-based, the food that we're eating, even if you want to say plants have feelings and you kill them.
Yeah.
But 90% of the plants we actually eat, you don't kill, you harvest, and it's actually more beneficial for the tree and the plant by
Yep.
eating it. Like the strawberry bush grows quicker the more strawberries you eat. So it's still plant-based, 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 mate. So yeah, I just wanted to touch back on that before I lost it somewhere in my brain, bro.
Yeah. No, no, I appreciate that. Well, we
Yeah, and
live in a
another
world.
thing actually, mate,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
just like to touch on is that a lot of people come to me and say, I try just touching back on the whole like plant basis, and for me, and people might be allergic to apples. I'll be like, but yeah, but you're not allergic to the peaches. You should be eating the peaches, not the
Right.
apples. Like you said, but also people come to me and said, Anth, I tried veganism and it didn't work for me, and I'm like, you didn't do it right though.
Right.
Most people are very unhealthy vegans. Most of the food you can buy within the vegan realm is highly toxic and actually
Mm-hmm.
traps and weaponry that's been put there to put you off it.
Yeah.
And also, one of the biggest changes within my vegan journey I've been on, mate, is when I incorporated this individual food into my diet, my life changed forever, bro. And it showed me the power of one food missing or being in your diet. And this is one of the things that I was saying to you was like, I try something for 1 month when it comes into my life.
Mm-hmm.
This 1 month was the most powerful 1 month so far. Someone came
Mm.
up to me once, oh, Auntie, you're a vegan, do you eat these? And I was like, what's that? And they went, oh, it's called sprouts, broccoli sprouts. They're called
Oh,
microgreens. I went,
oh man,
and I was like,
sprouts. Yes.
and I, mate, this changed my life. I looked at it and went, are they little trees that are growing? She went, yeah, yeah, they'll be bigger tomorrow. I went, that'll be bigger tomorrow. And I was like, I'm not eating anything like that that's growing. I went, all right, okay, I'm going to eat these every day now and see how
Yeah.
that changes. That's what I've done, mate. I said, I'm going to eat these every day to see how it changes my being. And
Yeah.
mate, within 2 weeks, bro, people will come to me and go, Auntie, you started taking steroids, haven't you? I went, I haven't taken steroids. And I
Wow.
was I was looking in the mirror myself, bro, and I was going, I was like,
Wow.
what is going on here? Like, and people were coming up to me going, you've got much bigger. So I had my confirmation from myself and confirmation from the external that what sprouts provide, bro, and this
Mm-hmm.
is nobody eats, mate. And when they say
Mm-hmm.
I got skinny as a vegan, I went, were you eating sprouts? And they go, what are them? I'm like, that's what you were missing.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the thing, mate, when I say don't worry about the vitamin A, don't worry about the vitamin B, don't worry about the vitamin C,
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about the measurements. So, for example, I say, just eat fruit regularly. There's one of your little sectors, fruit. Just eat vegetables, doesn't matter which one,
Yeah.
regularly. Just eat leaves
Mm-hmm.
regularly, it doesn't matter which one. Just eat nuts, seeds, and grains regularly, doesn't matter which one. And this is the big
Mm.
one, mate, that binds it all together, that I think is actually the single most important one and not very well, not commonly ate in the world, bro. And that's sprouts.
Mm-hmm.
Eat that. That's the one as a vegan that you
Yeah.
need if you want to put on size and power. That's your growth energy, mate. So
Yeah.
if I'm going to the gym and I want to grow, again using logic and not science,
Mm-hmm.
if I had a spinach leaf in one hand and I dropped it on the floor, it would die in 5 minutes. If I
Mm-hmm.
had a sprout in one hand and I dropped it in the floor, it would grow into a tree.
Mm.
So the energy signature, bro, this is energy again.
Yeah.
The energy signature at the core of them are completely different, but both very
Wow.
healthy and essential for the human body. So if I'm going to the gym, bro, and I want to grow my muscles, what food am I going to grow? Going to eat? I'm going to eat the growth energy, and I
Yeah.
can tell it's growth energy by looking at it and using my eye and using my brain.
Yeah.
So when I started eating sprouts, bro, I put on a massive amount of muscle very, very, very quickly, mate. And now I eat sprouts every single day. I
Yeah.
actually travel the world with a bag of sunflower seeds because what you do is you
Oh
put
wow.
water on the sunflower seeds and they start to sprout. They become sprouts when you put them in water overnight. So
Wow.
I travel. That's the single food I make sure I eat every day, no matter where in the world I go, mate.
Oh, that's
So people
incredible.
come to me
Yeah.
and say
So
veganism doesn't work. I'm like, well, you're eating sprouts. They were like, what are they? I went, you were missing out on what they're probably the most important sector. And every vegan that has been vegan and went back, not one of them said, yeah, I was eating sprouts. And that is the one that connects everything, mate, the sprouts. And that's why they're not really commonly ate. They're kept from us, them ones, mate.
yeah,
They say one broccoli sprout, which is like the size of my hair, one hair, is like eating four broccolis. There's that much
yeah,
energy.
yeah,
That's the same energy,
yeah,
mate. And
yeah,
I'm like, what is them little things? And I eat a handful of them every day in my smoothie, mate, after the gym. And I'm just like, Popeye now, bro.
yeah,
I'm like,
man.
ka-doom, 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 ka-doom. Look, I'm not, you know what
Yeah,
I
so
mean?
yeah, for the people that do care about like the science of it, sunflower sprouts in particular actually are very high in aminos, which amino acids are what actually makes up protein. So when people say that you want protein, it's actually the nine essential amino acids that you're wanting to consume. And sunflower sprouts, there's no protein in sunflower sprouts, but there's all of the aminos that you need. So you will get jacked from eating sunflower
Jack,
sprouts.
mate.
Yeah.
I actually know all the science as well, mate. Before I got to the
Mhm.
point of concluding, you actually don't need the science, you need your brain because
Right,
that's
right.
the kingdom of heaven's within. I actually was obsessed with science, bro. So I know how much
Mm,
protein is in every single food. You could say food to me now, and I'll tell you how many grams of protein is in it, mate.
all
So,
right.
but if you want to talk about protein and science realm, there's actually sprouts, mate, are packed full of protein. Absolutely packed. They're one of the best food sources of protein you get within the plant realm. So if you wanted to have protein, mate, again, sprouts are stacked up in all the vitamins, minerals, cofactors, enzymes, prebiotics. They're a prebiotic, good for your digestive system, and protein as well, mate.
Yeah. So I want to talk about a little bit more about the sober parties. How do you break free of the stereotypes at your sober parties? Because we live in a world where where meat is marketed as manly and that alcohol is fun, right? We're seeing all this external information that's telling us all of these things. How does someone that wants to go sober, that wants to be vegan, how do you break free of that stereotype?
Before I answer that question, mate, I've just turned my aircon on there. Is that too noisy or is it okay?
No, can't
Because
hear
I
it
just.
all.
Okay, bro. Well, first of all, mate, you've got to want to. You can't force anyone, I've found, to become vegan or sober, although they probably know it's a good thing or beneficial thing, and you feel it is. First of all, people have got to really want change in their life, and
Yeah.
that usually comes from having a negative experience like suicidal depression or a really bad hangover or cancer or illness in the body. One of the usually the same thing. Um, and then it's a case of like with alcohol, I see it as actually an addiction for people. A lot of people don't realize how addicted they are to alcohol. Um, so it's a case of like trying new things, like for a month, like I'm saying, that month spell that I use regularly is such a powerful tool in life. So what you could say is, oh, I'm going to try and drink less or not drink at all for 1 month. One, to see if I can do it, and two, to see if how it makes me feel if I do it.
Hmm.
And so someone might go, I'll go plant based for 1 month and eat sprouts every day, and I'll see how I feel. So they've got to want to do it, but there's actually quite easy ways to explore it. And the month
Hmm.
period of time is such a good tool to use for people.
Yeah.
I do health coaching now, mate. I really help mostly men, but women as well, become really, really healthy versions of themselves. And I don't force anything upon them, but we have this sort of conversation. And I say, well, why don't you explore it for a week or two, or if you can a month, because then you'll really be able to feel if it's right or wrong or good or bad for you then. So I really highly recommend the experimentation of like 1, 2, 3, but 4 weeks is the key period of time where you'll see and feel differences and you'll know if it's true or not in your life.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've experienced a lot of backlash, promoting veganism and sobriety at your events? And how do you handle the critics?
Oh, mate, you're going to get. I've realised on planet Earth, you're going to get backlash and critics from every area of
Yeah.
life, no matter what you choose to do. That's just the way life is, mate. I've genuinely been trying to build world peace. That's why I chose to be a vegan. Is because at the age of 30, when I got suicidal depression, and I realised it wasn't about money and women, And I took a bit of a spiritual quest to go, well, what the heck's life about then? If it's not about money and women, because I thought that's what life was about. What every
Yeah.
human's told me we've got to try and do is money, 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 make more money, 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 make more money. Beautiful girl, beautiful girl, beautiful girl, beautiful. And then two things is what I was chasing. But then I concluded actually we're here on the planet to make the world a better place for all life that exists,
Yeah.
which I framed together as world peace, to create world peace. I've been trying to build world peace now for 15 years, and me and God are the only judge, mate. But on that journey of trying to build world peace, mate, I've been called the worst names by the most bizarre places. And what I've
Mm.
come to conclude is that it doesn't matter what you set out to do in life, you're going to get backlash and critics. And
Yeah.
what that is actually God testing your resolve to say, oh, you want to do that and achieve that? What if that person says that person says that, and he does that all in the same week? Will you still do it? And if you're like, yeah, I'm still going to do it, God's going, all right, this guy's serious about this. Right, I'm
Yeah.
going to do that, that, and that now. And you've got to pick something in life that you're genuinely passionate and believe in. Mine
Yeah.
is world peace. And then stick at it no matter what, stay relentless in your pursuit. And that's how we create big, powerful changes in the world.
Yeah.
So it's not a case of like, oh, I hope the backlash doesn't come and the critics doesn't come. That shit's going to come no matter what you do. No matter what you choose to do, you're going to get shit. What you're going to do is choose something that's worth receiving it for.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um
So that shit's coming, mate. That is coming no matter what.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, that's what I learned, you know, especially even doing like vegan comedy. It's like, you know, you just get so much backlash. I mean, even when I don't do comedy about veganism, I'm like I get so much just backlash, people talking about my haircut or my, you know, my style or whatever. Like the people just want to talk shit and they'll just say stuff, you know. And so
That's what humans are, mate.
yeah, yeah, you
That's what
just got to
humans are. But there's also, I believe, mate, especially with alcohol, actually, to be honest with you, a specific sector of humans that are just take the. Do you understand the terminology? Take the mick.
take them. No.
Can I swear on this, mate?
Yeah, sure.
All right, okay. Take the piss. Do you know, men? A lot of men's banter is taking the piss out of each other. About like, mate, if I didn't
Mm,
like the way you're dressed, I wouldn't put you on. I'd respect the way you are. If your
yeah,
haircut was different to mine, mate, that doesn't bother me at all. I don't give you shit for the way you look.
yeah,
We used to take the piss out of each other like that as men when I used to drink a lot.
yeah,
I think that banter is basic level and it makes me cringe, mate.
yeah,
So I think there's just a certain sector of humans that seem to like drunk football people, you know, things like that. I
yeah,
kind of take the piss out of each other, mate. And I don't relate to that at all anymore. But I
yeah.
used to, mate. And I just think it's like this uncomfortable,
It's like an ego
like
thing, right? Like trying to one up
an
somebody
ego
else.
thing, mate. It's like I don't want to do that. I haven't got time for that anymore, mate.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it. I want to respect you for the beautiful, unique man you are. That you
yeah,
dress and look like that. You
yeah,
know, I'm not like I don't put anyone down for any reason unless they're being like really annoyed or dangerous or abusive. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
But if you're just a normal human being, I'm not going to say negative things to you. But there's a lot of people that do that, and I find that so cringy and uncomfortable. To be honest with you, mate.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So like for somebody who would say that like they can't live without some favorite food or like their favorite drink, you know, like what's the first step towards changing their mindset?
Well, you can live without anything. So, first of all, making them recognize the truth of the statement is
Mm,
absolutely incorrect. And usually, if they can't live without anything, that's actually an addiction. And if it's not a healthy substance, it's now a poisonous addiction. So,
mm,
I'd have that sort of conversation with them. But if they wanted to give it up, mate, and they were like, oh, I can't drink without, I can't live without Coca Cola, but I really, really want to because I know it's not good for me. It's messing my skin up and it's
mm,
messing my stomach up. I'll say to them, right, how many Coca Colas do you drink today? They say, I have 5 every day. And I say, okay, you're going to have 4 today. Today, you're going to have 4 Coca Colas a day,
mm,
okay? And that's how you're going to do it. And I'm
yeah,
going to hold you accountable because you're a warrior, you're a miracle. You can achieve having just 4 Coca. In fact, you can achieve so much more than that. I'm going to be
yeah,
honest with you.
yeah,
You're a miracle. You can achieve incredible things on planet Earth. So you can lose just one can of Coke today, and then a few days later, I'm like, are you ready for the next step? The next step is you're going to have 3 Coca-Colas today only. You can do that because you're a miracle and you can achieve anything you set your mind to. And the more you love your body And the more you put positive foods and positive drinks in your body, and not these things that negative and having a negative impact, your whole life's going to get better, and that's motivation for you. Are you ready to drink 3 left Coca-Cola today? Because you
Yeah.
can do that. And
Yeah.
then before they know it, they're down to 2. And then we're going to get to a week, mate, when I say, are you ready for the first day where you don't have one Coca-Cola?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can do that, because you're a miracle, and behind this is your result. This is the moment of time you've been working towards that. Beyond this, you're going to get a big reward where your stomach and your skin's going to go to the next level in the way you've
Yeah.
always wanted. This is your result. And me and you are going to do this together. So I get them there slowly but surely and remind them why it is they're doing it, especially if it's a toxic addiction, mate.
Yeah.
If it's a poisonous thing that they know is having a negative impact on their life. A lot of people want to cut back on alcohol that speak to me. A lot of people really want to cut back and stop alcohol, but are just actually addicted.
Mm-hmm.
We'll create a reason why they want to do it, and then I remind them that, as I'm reminding them that they're also an incredibly powerful being that can achieve
Mm-hmm.
this, and actually so much than this thing that they're going to do. So I create like magic spells, I call them,
Yeah.
and then I help remind them on WhatsApp voice notes of that, to remind
Mm.
them of their magic spells, because of the result they're getting, how far they've already come, and that they're already 2 weeks into this now.
Yeah.
There's no point turning around now.
Right.
And it's kind of like just it's just a logical progression.
Yeah.
It's again, it's logic, bro. It's like, that's the easiest way to quit something. So let's
Yeah.
just do it together.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. And what about like some people feel like veganism is often seen as like a lifestyle for privileged people, right? What's your take on like the accessibility of plant-based eating?
Well, like I say, mate, there's 80,000 edible plants on the earth. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You can travel around the world, and there's always amazing fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
To be a healthy human, you've got to get good at making 1 or 2 meals with the common foods that are around. Like cucumbers and quinoa and rice, and tomatoes and spices and herbs. And you can get any food you want around the world. But there is little moments of time and pockets of time that God tests you. Because not only am I plant based, I'm a healthy vegan. I don't eat any shit vegan food either, mate. I don't.
Mm.
What I do, if there's only, like, on airports is a challenge when I'm doing long flights. What I'll
Yeah.
do, mate, is I'll water fast. I got really
Mm.
good at water fasting as part of
Yeah.
my journey to say, I'm going to become the healthiest version of myself for myself and the planet.
Yeah.
As part of that process, naturally, mate, you've got to get good at water fasting. It's
Yeah.
part of the journey when you're a serious healthy human being. So if I'm going through a period of time where there's no healthy food around me, I'm just going to water fast in
Yeah.
1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And I like water fasting now, mate.
Yeah.
Not only
Yeah.
does it feel good in my stomach, it's definitely a detoxifying thing. So
Yep.
if I can't eat good, healthy vegan food, mate, I'll just water fast and clean my system out until I get to a moment in time when I can eat bananas again.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting because I went to Brazil last year and I decided that I was going to do a water fast when I went and it was actually one of the best decisions I made like for the whole 14-hour trip. Uh I just fasted the entire day, so it was good.
Yeah, mate. It's an essential part of it all, mate. Ultimately, we've all been poisoned on planet Earth, given what's going on here, because this food that's highly toxic, mate, is put there with intention to poison the human race and lower our frequency and make us quite sick, to try and get us addicted to the pharmaceuticals and make us low in energy, where we've
Hmm.
just got enough energy to make money for ourselves and live our own little lives and not fix these big, dramatic global problems we've got. So
Yeah.
that this world has been set up with some very powerful, advanced people that are all working together to poison us and keep us in a low frequency.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of poisons in our bodies, and water fasting is something we should all be exploring and experimenting with it, mate,
Yeah.
to give our body a moment of time to detoxify and get rid of these poisons that are in all of our bodies now, mate. It's a
Hmm.
poisonous world that we're living in. The food's been hijacked, the water system's been hijacked, the soil's been hijacked, the air's been hijacked, bro. The sun's getting hijacked as we talk, mate. They're dimming the sun
Wow.
now in my country, in Britain. They're spending 500 million to dim the sunlight. And I'm just
Wow.
like,
What?
why are people letting this go? What will it take if people aren't going, no more, you will not do this no more, like they do for
Yeah.
the football matches every Saturday? If they're not doing that when there's starving children on the planet, 30,000 children starve to death every day, talk of nuclear bombs all the time, the
Mm.
poisoning the earth and ripping the rainforest down, I'm like, and injecting us with poisonous substances that have killed a lot of people. If that's not enough, I'm like, what will it take for
Yeah.
people to rise up and stand up all together and go, no more? The
Right.
system's got to change now, because
Yeah.
I thought that would have happened such a long time ago, mate. So, that just hasn't happened yet. I'm still like waiting, thinking, what will it take? 'Cause it's going to be something massive, bro. If it's not been what's already came before us.
So when the pressure to go back on your word or your commitment, right? The pressure to just have one more drink, when that's strong, like how do you maintain your commitment to sobriety without coming off as judgmental?
Well, two answers to that, mate. One, my purpose, bro. My purpose is world peace, and that holds me strong to the mission
Yeah.
that I'm on,
Yeah.
because it's just that's what I've been sent to the planet to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth holding tight to these little decisions, micro decisions I've got to make every day.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, mate, you get to so far into the journey where I'm not bothered about alcohol at all anymore,
Yeah.
mate. It
Yeah.
just people like, what do I want to drink? I'm like, nah. I don't even go to environments where people offer me a drink now. Do you know what I mean? I don't even
Right.
go near alcohol anymore. Like, I'm so far past that. Like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I might have a drink here because everyone else around me's drinking. That's just gone, that, mate.
Yeah.
Um, but also, mate, this is another thing. As long as I am genuinely reflecting, and only me and God are my judge, no one else can tell me otherwise. I don't care what other people's opinion is of me. If I wanted to have a drink and I haven't drank for 5 years, and my dad wants to.
Oh, oh, and we lost him. Oh, you back?
Sorry, mate, I'm back. Someone's trying to ring me there.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
back, mate.
All right.
If I'm genuinely getting healthier week by week, and I'm reflecting, and I am my own judge on that, and I wanted to
Yeah.
have a glass of red wine, I haven't drank in 5 years, I'd have a glass of red wine, mate. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if that's what you want to do, don't be too really, really, really strict. If you don't want to be, if you're
Yeah.
sticking true to your overall mission,
Yeah.
the thing is, there's one rule I stick to on planet Earth, mate, and that's
Mm.
do no harm. I'm
Mm.
not, no matter what my dad says over chest, I'm never eating another animal again, mate.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
decision's made.
Yeah.
If I was to have another drink sometime in the future, mate, maybe I will. If I started dating a girl and she wanted to have a drink with me on her anniversary, and we haven't drank, and she likes to have a little drink now and again, I'll be like, come on then, love, me and you, let's go and watch the sunset again. I'll have a red wine. Do you know what I mean? But I'm still going to the gym tomorrow and I'm still getting healthy. I'm staying true to my mission. Do that. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to ask, well, what it is I want. I probably won't have alcohol, mix. I love feeling highly vibrant and full of energy, and alcohol takes that away. So you've got to be able to move like water a little bit as well. I'm a very, 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 very healthy vegan, but I might have a slice of unhealthy vegan pizza one time, mate. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean? I might be at my
Yeah.
mate's birthday party and he doesn't know about healthy veganism and everything I'm
Right.
talking about. He's just got vegan pizza in for everyone. I'll be, pass that over here. Give me some of that. And, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm still going to be healthy that week. I'm still going to be eating healthy food. I'm still going to be hitting the gym and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you're genuinely getting healthier week by week without fail, mate, that's what your true gauge should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be as strict or a little bit unstrict if you want on the rules that you've made on that
Mm-hmm.
journey. But as long as you're doing that, mate, that's the key to it all, bro. I think as long as you're moving towards the light, as
Yeah.
long as you're moving towards God and blossoming like a tree a little bit every day, and not going like this,
Yeah.
or even worse, like what I was doing as when I got suicidal depression, which is this, mate.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
That's the gauge you want to be using, mate. If you want to
Yeah.
have a little drink now and again, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm amazing, mate. I've got my algorithm of life locked down, and it works magic for me. And I'm living a really fun, really healthy, really happy, really peaceful. They're the four foundations I'm always chasing: health, happiness, freedom, and peace. I've got my food, what I like to do, my friends, the things I go to, my hobbies, my passions locked down. When actually I'm constantly living like that now and having a
mm.
great time, being really
Mm.
happy, having loads of fun, living in Bali, running sober parties, DJing, dancing, meeting amazing, sexy, beautiful girls, amazing, cool, funky guys. You know,
Yeah.
I've got it locked down now, mate, because I've stayed patient and persistent to get that algorithm.
That's nice, man. That inspires two questions before we get out of here. One question is like when talking to other people who aren't vegan or maybe they're not sober, you know, sometimes they might throw out that phrase everything in moderation, like, oh, like, as long I only have a little bit of cheese or I only have a little bit of such and such, like, do you feel like that's just an excuse, and like what's your take on the moderation myth?
Yeah, the moderation thing, and also they use the word balance a lot.
Yeah.
That's subjective, mate. Because I could speak to one person who says, "Yeah, but I just have a few beers a week." And I
Hmm.
say, "Oh, but what's your balance?" He goes, "Well, 4 beers a week." And I say to the next person, "What's your balance?" And he goes, "Well, mine's 6." I say to the
Yeah.
next person, well, he says, "Well, I think 2 actually. I don't think 4 or 6." And we're like, "Right, well, okay, guys, which balance is right here?"
Right.
You know,
Right.
so balance is an excuse that people use to normalize what they think's all right, to not
Mm.
really look at the deeper problem. So
Mm.
I'm like you. I get rid of that one, mate. I'm not having that one. And
Yeah.
also, I think, mate, that no poisonous substance for the body is ever going to be balanced out in a good way. Like
Mm.
it's going to be much better for you if you don't put anything poisonous and thing in your body. So I might have one grain on my hand, and I say to someone, lick that grain, and they're like, what is it? And I'm like, it's rat poison. And they go, well, why would I like that? It's rat poison. I went, you won't even feel it. You won't even know it's hit you. And they're
Mhm.
like, well, I'm still not going to do it because it's rat poison.
Right.
And they're right. It's
Hmm.
best not to put anything poisonous in your body rather than 1 or 2 or 3 beers. You know what I mean? It's best just to be fully healthy and fully love your body and put everything good, positive, and energizing your body. That's going to have a better impact than using the word balance to say, I'm just going to drink this poison now and again because I want this much this week. So
Got
I'm
you.
with you, mate. I think that the moderation and balance thing is a myth, and people just use it because it kind of like gets them out of jail without them having to look at the deeper addiction that they will have by having to use that word.
Yeah. My next question would be, in terms of dating, right? Or, like some people, some vegans are very strict. Like, I'm only dating vegans and I only want to talk to people that are on this lifestyle, on this path. What is your take on dating? Is it okay to date outside people who aren't vegan if you're hardcore vegan? What's that?
Well, mate, that's a beautiful question, that one, mate, and I've got a beautiful answer for that one, to be honest with you, bro.
Mm,
I was very like, I'm only going to date a vegan because what that reflects is the heart of that human being ultimately.
hmm
Because, mate, I'm actually not a vegan, to be honest with you.
mm,
What I am is a man who's made a promise to have the most positive, healthy impact on my body and the
mm,
planet for all life that exists as I
mm,
possibly can, which
mm.
means which I do in my life and my attitude and what I do for business as much as I possibly can,
Mm,
including what I eat. Which means what I've got to eat is it's got to be plant based, given and it's got to be healthy,
right.
plant based as well, because I want to love my body and the planet. So that's what I am, and you
Yeah.
can label that up as a vegan. So that's why people call me a vegan, but I'm not really a vegan. I'm
Yeah.
a man trying to do powerful things and create world peace.
Yeah.
And what reflects, that's why I chose to be a vegan, is because I'm trying to build a better world, and I really care about the animals, mate. I
Yeah.
genuinely care about the animals. And I said, well, obviously I want a girl who's that sort of human as well, naturally. So I only dated vegans. And then the last girl I just dated, mate, was the most beautiful girl I've ever met in my entire life. And I fell in
Mhm.
love with her straight away. And she wasn't a vegan.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I thought the last girls I dated were vegan and were amazing, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
This girl's not a vegan and she's beautiful and I love her. I really, really love her. I fell in love with her quick. I thought I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. We'll have a nice time. She's lovely. She's sweet. She eats burgers and chicken, so be it. And we fell in love and had an amazing journey. And then she's about 6 months into our relationship, she went vegan, mate. And she's now a
Nice.
vegan.
Nice.
So she saw me as a 44-year-old man and heard what I talked about, watched the things that I watched and applied it. She'd done the month experimentation things a lot. and she felt the benefits of it and
Mm-hmm.
thought and figured out, well, that's a nice healthy thing, so I'm going to give it a go, and it had a positive impact on her body. So I think just don't make too many strict rules in life. You do what
Yeah.
you think's right for you, apply it
Yeah.
to you, but don't judge other people based upon your morals. Love other people for where they're at on their journey, and trust in God. Don't try and force your way on anyone.
Yeah.
You live by your ideals, and radiate your truth. And
Yeah.
if it's true, God will make it happen. You
Yeah.
just do you, and the rest will fall into place. Don't get too forceful. If you meet someone and love them and they're not vegan, don't date them don't not spend time with them because they're not vegan, but you're really feeling that call in your heart.
Yeah.
Follow your heart, follow the guidance within. That's where I'm at. So my last partner taught me that one, and that was one of the most beautiful lessons I'll be forever grateful for her for teaching me that indirectly.
Yeah, man. I love that you say that because I know there's a lot of single people in single women in particular who are vegan, and they're having a really hard time finding a partner. And a lot of people look at me and my wife, and they're like, "Oh, I want to find my vegan partner. We can create vegan things together, and bring up a world of vegans and all of that." But what people don't recognize is that like I wasn't vegan when my wife dated me. She was. And I love that, in your situation, the girl you were dating wasn't vegan, and then now she is. She decided to go plant-based, and like I decided after a year that this was the way to go. It just made sense when I saw her vibrance, when I saw her lifestyle. It just made sense to me to go that way. So I'll say to anybody who is vegan, who's struggling with dating, struggling with finding somebody else vegan, I love what Anth is talking about. Don't worry about trying to, be so strict. If you have a connection with somebody, let that connection flow and shine by example. And I promise you, if you're strong enough in your convictions, in yourself, and you're leading by example without forcing it on them and trying to beat them over the head with it, they're going to see the value and the benefits of your lifestyle. So, because we wouldn't be, me
Oh,
and
that's
my wife have been
beautiful,
together for
bro. That's
9 years.
beautiful.
Yeah, me and my wife have been together 9 years now, and I, like what I've been vegan for 8 years, and if she wasn't, if she was strict or she was like beating me over the head with it, I can't say that I would have been, but we were able because she was open and accepting. Then we've been able to create this amazing life together. Um,
That's that's so romantic, mate. I love that. I mean, I think that's the answer to that one, mate.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's like just give people a chance. If you really like someone and they're happening to meet, spend some time with them.
yeah,
Spend some time with them and just see how it goes. Sorry, I just had to
yeah,
put my phone in there, bro. I can say that was a beautiful experiment that worked really well for me, mate.
yeah.
And she was the best partner I've had so far, bro. She was absolutely beautiful, and now she's a really really passionate vegan and actually teaches
Nice.
people how to go vegan now. So
Nice.
yeah, mate,
Love that.
that's the best way to be, bro.
All right, Anth, I want to we're coming up on an hour here, so I want to give you an opportunity to just talk about your Rise and Shine events and just let the people know like what the experience is and give yourself a little moment to shout yourself out, you know.
Well, with Rise and Shine, mate, I'm looking to create positive change in the world. And when I looked at, well, look how we're partying on planet Earth. 99.9% of the billions of parties we do every single day are all to do with alcohol, which again, I'm not against alcohol, bro. If that's what you want to do it. But I do look at the reality of that it's a high level poison that is
Hmm.
causing dramatic negative problems on multiple levels like
Yeah.
illness, disease, aggression. Like 60% of all criminal things that happen on planet Earth are alcohol related criminal things. I used to fight, I used to do things I shouldn't really do when I was drunk. I used to steal things, I used to cheat. I used to do not nice things when I was drunk, and that was the truth of my experience, mate. And I saw and heard a lot of other people do similar things. So I was like, why do a party in just a really poisonous way like that? And I thought, you
Hmm.
know what, I'm going to create a party um, that's healthy for you instead. And I thought, well,
Hmm.
what would that be? And I thought, right, well, parties are socializing, that's a beautiful thing. Networking, that's a beautiful thing. Dancing as a tribe, that's a beautiful thing. Seeing your friends, getting dressed up sexy, flirting, meeting a new girl, meeting your old friends, all that stuff is so sacred. I know it's literally alcohol's the only single poisonous thing within that. If I
Yeah.
just remove that and put healthy juices and smoothies and coconuts, that will
Yeah.
then be like upward spiral. It would be an upward spiral thing and a positive, empowering, energizing thing, and we're going up instead of being a negative thing where we're poisoning ourselves and poisoning ourselves. I
Yeah.
thought I'm just going to do that then. So
Yeah.
10 years ago, I created a party called Rise and Shine. That's just like a banging, cool, sexy, fun party, just with no alcohol, mate, with juices and
Yeah.
smoothies and kombucha and water and teas and things like that instead. And most people actually drink the cosmic cacao smoothie at the party because obviously cacao gets you a little bit high, mate. It's a very healthy stimulant.
Yeah.
And that's what 80% of the drinks are sold at my bar. And
Okay.
wherever I live in the world, I do Rise and Shine party once a month. And we
Oh
get
wow.
anything between 150 to like the most I've ever had is 400 people at a party.
Wow.
I'd love to get 1,000. I would love to get 1,000 people to a party. And also, I would love to franchise it out around the world. Where say
Yeah.
you wanted to do it in America, you use a Rise and Shine brand fee, and you do it with my expertise over the phone. Or maybe I would fly in for the first one and do the first one with you, and then you do a once a month party, and I would just get a brand fee for you using Rise and Shine. And I love to have Rise and Shine California, Rise and Shine Atlanta, Rise and Shine Colombia, Rise and Shine Brazil, right? Well, Sao Paulo, Rise and Shine Delhi, Rise and Shine London, Rise and Shine Ibiza, Rise and Shine Barcelona. I'd love to have one healthy party once a month all around the world. I think it
Love
would
it.
go down well anywhere in a major city because we are at a point where I hear over and over again that people don't really want to drink and are sick of hangovers. But if they want to go partying and dance and network and flirt, most things we do are with alcohol. Party and alcohol is synonymous. They go together like that. They're like double bonded. On planet Earth, and I think we need at least one sober party in every city in the world. When we've got
Yeah.
10,000 parties, you could go out in Barcelona on Saturday night, and they're all alcohol. So that's what Rise and Shine represents to me is a positive alternative, a healthier alternative, something we all love to do, which is pub and club and party.
Yeah. Yeah. We got somebody that says California is ready.
Well, tell them to give me a message on Rise and Shine parties on
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 Instagram.
Instagram, and they can run the California one, mate. That's it.
Okay.
Next one. Anyone else in America wants to take the franchise for Rise and Shine? It's
Hey
a
man,
sober
we might
party.
take it on.
It's
That may be something cool we could do down here in Miami.
Give it a go. All you need to do, this is all you need. You need a venue, obviously, with a good
Hmm.
sound system. For me, you've got to have the best sound system. So either
Yeah.
the venue's already got one or you rent one in. But you
Yeah.
need a good sound system, mate, because the music and the dancing is actually one of the main things we're doing there.
Yeah.
And it's good to work with a venue that's already got stock and knows how to make at least two smoothies, two juices, and then that's it, mate. The maximum, the minimum you need is four drinks, two juices, two smoothies, and then like water. It's great if you've got a coconut, but if as long as you get 5 or 6 healthy drinks with no alcohol, and I don't like just sober drinks. I like healthy drinks. So, for example, I wouldn't sell Coca-Cola, although it's alcohol-free, at Rise and Shine because it's
Hmm.
poison still. I want you to drink a drink at Rise and Shine and it energize, have a positive
Yeah.
impact on your body. And the key number is, I found, mate, you need to get 100 people there to make it a really cool party, mate. That's the baseline number is 100 people. So all you need is a cool venue. I like working with a management team that really believe the idea and want to support the idea
Yeah.
of a sober party and go, that's a really good idea because I do alcohol parties all the week and I see what alcohol does to people. It just makes people messy and stupid. I'd
Yeah.
love to do that. It's good to work with a venue that's got that kind of energy and attitude, I've found.
Yeah.
Find a venue with it that's got that sort of energy and just start inviting people. And if you can get
Yeah.
100 there, you're laughing, mate. A hundred's the key number of people.
Yeah. Sounds good, man. I love it. I love it. So and tell people where they can find you and anything else you want them to know about you.
Okay, guys, you can find me in Bali. I live in Bali if you ever want to come and see me in Bali, but I know that's not what he's talking about. I'm on Instagram, and it's Anth Lowther, which is ANTHLOWTHER, Anth for Anthony, Anth Lowther. Lowther. And you can come and see me and ask me any questions, and I love to have this conversation. You can see how ripped I am as a vegan, so you can stay ripped and muscular as a vegan. You can see very clearly there. And you can find Rise and Shine on Rise and Shine Parties, all one word. That's easier to remember. Rise and Shine Parties is the Rise and Shine Parties page. And I also do want to say something else, mate. I'd like to finish it up on this.
Absolutely.
I think on a really deep and beautiful level, we're at the most exciting time that's ever been on the planet as a species, where we're at this choice point, and the warning signs are loud and clear and very obvious now that we're walking down a very dangerous, negative path with warning signs like nuclear bombs, nuclear war, corrupt governments. You can't trust this government. Is that government lying? Is this government lying? We don't even know anymore. 30,000 people starving to death every day. The Amazonians getting ripped down faster than ever to build more McDonald's. McDonald's is the biggest cause of why we're ripping down the Amazonian rainforest. I'm like, what? Why are we doing that? Plastics in the ocean, the pandemic. Nobody knows what went on, but it looks like we've been injected. People are being injected with highly poisonous, corrupt, negative chemicals. What I'm saying is the warning signs that we're walking down a negative path, too hard and too fast now. Now on that path, we're either facing one or two outcomes, and it could be very, very soon, and I'm not happy about it. Is we're either facing global tyranny, where we're really going to get microchipped, and there's going to be drones and robot dogs and face recognition. And if you're not a good boy, they're just going to switch you off or explode your arm off or something like that. Or even further down that path, which could be another fractal, another timeline of an extreme negative outcome is extinction. We're looking at extinction now, just because we're not extinct yet doesn't mean to say we can't tomorrow with nuclear bombs. But on the other choice point, I think we could create a much better system than the one we're currently living in. We've got God-like technology here now. And if we all moved in the same direction, all 8 billion humans moved in the same direction of the betterment of mankind and the betterment of the planet, and infused that direction with this God-like technology, that we could create heaven on earth, mate. We could create a heavenly system that works for you, me, all humans, and all animals. We can't negate the animals. If we're talking about heaven here, the animals are part of our family. That's what I do. That's what I've done with Rise and Shine. I said, well, what would heaven look like? What I want to do as a man is create world peace, is to bring heaven to earth now through my actions. I want to bring heaven to earth through my actions. That's what I want to do. So what would a party in heaven look like? Well, it would look like that, right? That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
We can create heaven on earth now, mate, in the next month if we all moved in the same direction. And ultimately, that's what we all want, mate. We all want freedom and peace and health and happiness for ourselves and our loved ones. But we've now got to try and want it for everyone at the same time, because we're all friends and family. We're all one big global family, including the animals as well. We can't negate the animals out of this equation, mate. They look after the planet for us. They're beautiful species, and they just want to be loved, looked after, and we should play with them and feed them. So every action and thought you actually have is moving your direction. When I was talking about energy before, it's either positive or negative energy.
Yeah.
You and I and every human impacts this world with either positive or negative energy every day, just by being alive. We all need to reflect deeply now, bro, and say, am I having an impact on this world? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like the three main areas are these three areas, mate, is how we create positive change. How we create change, mate, every day just by being alive. What you do, which usually means what you do each day, which usually means job. Doesn't always mean job, but what you do with your time and energy, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
What you choose to buy and what you choose to eat are the three main areas that I encourage people to reflect on. Are you eating and buying positive things or negative things? And this is where food comes into it. This is where the alcohol industry comes into it. This is where your job comes into it. What you're supporting with your time and energy. What's your job? What do you do? What industry are you supporting here? And if we all say, right, time for radical change here, because what we're doing is dangerous now, and we all moved in the direction of love, peace, health, harmony, joy, compassion, caring for each other, caring for ourselves, caring for the planet, we can create heaven on earth. Now is the time for us to create heaven on earth. And
Yeah.
I encourage you to recognize that you're a miracle and you
Mm-hmm.
could be the one that knocks the dominoes just enough to create it on a global level. So what I'm
Yes.
saying, guys, is come on, let's go. We've got
Yeah.
the most exciting time on the planet now, guys. And you and I can create positive change. Don't look to anyone else.
Yeah.
You're a miracle. You're as powerful as any human on the planet. So you can create positive change just like I every single day. This is what we get to do, create positive change. That's what God does. We are creator gods. We create every day. And that's what I wanted to leave it with, mate, to recognize there's a fantastic opportunity to create a much better system for all of us forever right in front of us now. And that's what I live for. And that's what I believe our highest calling is, brother.
Yeah, man. Yo, I appreciate you saying that. If you guys are interested at all in what Anth is talking about and creating heaven on earth, make sure you follow him. Make sure you check out our new nonprofit that we are launching where we are creating heaven on earth. We believe in Spark Cities. Follow us. Go to our website, sparkcities.org. We are launching a new nonprofit that is responsible for reinventing Earth as we know it with this new mindset. And we are so excited. We are co-creating Zion. And just like that, we are wrapping up another fantastic session here on the Ace Anderson Show. Huge shout out and endless gratitude to our incredible guest, Anth Lowther, for dropping so much wisdom and inspiration today. Anth, your journey in veganism, in sobriety, in health, in wellness, in connectivity, spirituality is truly a master class in self-love and discipline. And I know you've given so many people something to think about and to meditate on. And don't forget, we're here every single week, every Monday morning, bringing you that heat to start your week off right. If today's conversation got you fired up, inspired, or just curious to learn more, please drop a comment, share this stream, and tell a friend because you know word of mouth is the best influencer. Keep Ace Boogie in your thoughts and prayers, and I promise to do the same. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ace Shot That. Remember, we're on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on TikTok, on Snapchat. So come follow your boy. Let's keep the A team growing strong. And until next time, y'all, remember to always, always, always align yourself with truth, trust, and patience. And I promise you will ace your life. Peace out, y'all.